When you open Microsoft Excel, you see such number of various rows and columns. Columns are named as A, B, C, D, E, F, and you can go on further. And the rows are numbered serially as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, how many rows we have? For that, we can press Control button and then down arrow key. That leads you to the last row of a Excel sheet of this Excel workbook. So here you can see this is 10,48,576 row of. So in a single sheet of a workbook of MS Excel, you get 10,48,576 number of rows. So that's too many. Normally we don't require that many rows to enter in, information. Then we go back to our first cell. Here you see when you go back to this first cell, this particular cell is highlighted column A and row 1, and this address of cell is reflected here, A1. Now if we like to go to the last column, for that you need to press Control and right arrow key, and you reach here XFD. This column is XFD. So how many columns would be there? For that you need to count, because they are not serially numbered, they are named alphabetically, first A to Z, then double A to double Z, etc. So, and then we get 3 letters. So if you count all of them, you will find that we have 1, 3, 5, 8, 9 columns. That is 13,589 columns. And number of rows, how many number of rows we have? Let's go again to that Control button and down arrow key. So we have 10,48,576 rows. Okay. Now what we can do, we can go back to our first cell A1. So any cell has its address as first its column number and then its row number. Again pressing Control button and up arrow key. We have written something here, we can undo that. Now you can see you can enter any in any cell you want. You can click in that cell, or you can use your arrow key to go to next cell, or sorry, next column, and you can click down arrow key to go to lower rows. You can click up arrows for going to upper rows, and if you want to go to left column, you can click left arrow. Okay, so that's how navigation works, and that's easy. So let's do one thing. We can just write 1 in cell C4. So when you select this cell, you see this C column is highlighted, this name is highlighted a bit, and the row 4 is also highlighted a bit as compared to the other cells. So just enter 1, and then in C5, if you press enter, the value is entered, and this next cell we go to. When you enter, we just go to one row below, or one cell below. So then enter 1. So we have got 1 and 2, 1 in C4 and 2 in C5. Here you can see a little square on this cell border. On the lower right corner of this cell border, you see a little square. If you take your cursor on this point, your cursor changes to plus. If you drag this plus button, the content of that cell 1 gets copied to the cells below. If you drag when the cursor turns to plus, and if you drag that to the right side, again the cell's content is copied to the cells on the right. So you can do it in all the 4 directions. So If you want to copy anything, you can just select a cell, then go to this lower right corner. The cursor shape changes a bit, and then you drag it below. All right. Okay. Now, if you see this, when all this from C4 to C10 cells are selected, even then there's this small square of this area on the lower right corner. Take your cursor there, and then you can drag till right. So of this first, these contents get copied to the columns on the right. Now we have got 1, 1, 1, 1. If you add all this, we should get 4. So how can we add this? We can just use equal sign C4. You click on C4, then plus sign from the keyboard, then again you click on D4, then plus sign from keyboard, then again you click on E4, then plus sign from keyboard, and you click on F4. So you entered this formula when you are adding the contents of the cell. Since the cell contains number, that they can be added, and you press at this point enter, you get 4. So we can add in this way. There is another formula which you can use for adding all these numbers. So this is equal sign sum. You also get a hint from functions hint from Excel, and it just briefly tells you about what this sum function does. So sum function adds all of the numbers in a range of cells. So our range of cells here we have taken from C5 to F5. So sum, we just entered equal sign sum, then a small bracket, then we click here on C5, drag it to F5 since we want to add all these numbers, and then right bracket, and then enter button. Again we get the same result. So here if you see, if you click here, 4 is written, 4 is there in the cell, but here in the formula bar, when you see the actual formula that is entered. Again if you click here, then you, here 4 is the result, but in the formula bar you can see what's the exact formula. If you want to enter any particular formula, so you can go to this point, insert functions come up, click on this, and you can choose any thing. So suppose now we want to subtract one number from another. So let's write subtract and search. We are getting some another function imsub, and that returns the difference of two complex numbers. So that may not work. So instead of through formula, we can just write in a cell equal sign, select a particular cell, then minus, and then select another cell. How do we do that? Just cancel it. Click here in G6, equal sign. You click 1, and of this cell E6, then minus sign that you can see on the keyboard, and then F6, and you press enter. So you are getting 0. Now suppose you have entered this formula is equal to E6 minus F6, that is visible here. Now we change this number to 5 and then enter. So when you change this number to 5, the formula then automatically calculates that 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. Make it 9, and you are getting 8. So once you have entered the formula, even when you change the numbers, you get the updated result. So that is the utility of Excel, that you don't need to do, if you have entered formula and some input variables, the values change, you don't need to input the type the formula again. The formula calculates with the updated input. So we have done addition, we have done subtraction. Let's do multiplication. For multiplication, let's write 4 and 2. We can magnify the cell. All right. So we have 4 here in E7 and in F7 we have to just click enter here, then select this cell E7. On the keyboard you will find asterisk or a star above the 8 number button. For that you need to press shift and then 8 number button, so you get this star or asterisk, and then you select, click on F7. So you have in the formula or in the cell you have entered is equal to E7 star and then F7, and then you press enter, so you get the result 8, and the formula is visible here in the formula bar. So 4 into 2 is 8. Let's change some numbers, make it instead of 2 make it 3, and you get 12. So this is working fine. Now suppose we want to divide one number by another. So suppose we need to divide 15. Suppose you have entered anything wrong and you need to correct it. So you don't need to delete. Just again select that cell, enter the correct value, and enter button. So you get 15. Enter 5 here. So we will be dividing 15 by 5. Press now equal sign. Select this cell. And for dividing, you need to write or type forward slash. Forward slash you can locate on the keyboard where the question mark is. Just below the question mark, we get this forward slash, and then you select 5 or that cell, and then press enter. So we are getting 3. Now suppose if we are dividing 15 by 4, so what value do we get? We are getting 3.75. So so far we have done addition or summation, subtraction, multiplication, and division. If you want to do more things, though Excel has a lot of formulas here, you can see this is auto sum function is there. The auto sum function means you just need to select a range. Let's make it 1 is here and 2. Okay, when you select this range 1 and 2, this cell from C9 to D9, here you can see that you have average is 1.5, means it automatically calculates average here. Then it counts number of numbers, that is 2, and the sum of numbers, that is 3. So that is automatically calculated. Now if we again drag this lowest square, what do we get? See, we had selected this 1 and 2. When we are dragging it, we are getting 3 and 4. So if we select 1 and 2 numbers, and then when you drag it, the next number automatically gets increased by 1. Now what we need to do, we have done all this summation. So summation we have done the summation for through this formula. So C4 plus D4 plus C4 plus F4. Here we have entered sum function. Now when you select this, go to formulas tab and click auto sum. So auto sum is selected. So here we get the result of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. This auto sum of button automatically enters this summation formula of sum and the range. So we can sum in this way also. Let's try some more functions. For that, you go to this cell and then click here. Average is here, which we have not used so far. So click on average. When you click on average, here you get the brief description that it returns the average or arithmetic mean of its arguments, which can be numbers, etc. So click OK. So when you click OK, this G4 to G9 range is entered, which we can also edit. Just click OK. Formula result is 6.95. So when 6.95833, so this is the result of G4 to G9. G4 to G9 area means G4 G4 is here and this G9. So average of this is equal to 6.95. So what it is, we can just write uh, average. So that is average. This is the average of these cells. And you can cross verify it. When you select these cells, here also it shows the average is 6.958333, and here also you get 6.958333. Okay, now let's use some more functions. Click here, if hyper count or max. Let's use max. Okay, max, some arbitrary range is there from 111 and 0. Let's see. So this is the maximum. The range referred to this is C4 to H4. Now this max function gives you the maximum of maximum of numbers from a range. So if you see this range, so maximum number is 4. If you drag this function downwards, here you drag it downwards, and then you get that from the respective rows, this is getting the maximum number 4. Here we, in this range, we have maximum number 9, so we are getting 9. Here maximum number in this range is 12. Maximum number in this range is 15, so we have 15. The maximum number in this range is 10, so we are getting 10. And here in this range, maximum number is 6.95. So how this max function works, that is very easy. And similarly, you can use a mean function. So mean function, if you enter here equal sign, then min, just open bracket, select the same range, bracket close, press enter, and you get the minimum of the numbers in this range. You drag it down, and you see the minimum in each of these ranges, minimum number is 1. Make it 0, one of the numbers 0, and here you get this 0 number. You make it -5 here, and you get the, out of this range, the minimum number is -5. So that's how it works, the minimum function.